It is true that the majority of the research that has been done on Gen Z overwhelmingly shows that this generation is more anxious, more depressed, more insecure, and more utterly afraid of the future than any other generation before them based on the data we have. Time and time again, the research points to the same handful of things that correlate to these massive mental health challenges in our teenagers and our children today: social media, smartphones, and growing up in a world that assumes the internet is a given everywhere at all times. There is now abundant evidence from numerous studies that few things can have as comprehensive and life-altering of an impact on a young girl than giving her unrestricted access to an Instagram account. And now similar research on TikTok is yielding similar conclusions. And here's the thing: if you're a parent, I don't need to tell you about the dangers of these things, because you're probably very well aware and concerned about these problems yourself, especially if you have older kids. You probably have examples of your own that trouble you just from within your own family. But whether you're a parent actively dealing with this problem with your children or not, this is the elephant in the room that we need to talk about. We cannot disciple our kids in an area that we have not been discipled in ourselves. If we haven't taken the log out of our eyes in the ways our smartphone and social media habits have harmed us, we're not going to be able to see clearly enough to take the speck out of the eyes of our children. Now that sounds harsh, and I don't intend to be harsh with you, but it is necessary that we start here. Unlike nearly every other social media manager in the greater social media management and marketing industry, I am not really a fan of social media. I do not believe the benefits have outweighed the cost of the damage done to us individually, to our families, and especially to the church, society, and American democracy. I manage our social media to steward those benefits for the well-being of my church, but I also manage our social media to educate against the dangers and costs of social media. For the past 4 years, I've been writing and podcasting on the subject of media literacy and media ecology in the church. With my podcast, Breaking the Digital Spell, the single biggest conclusion that I came to is that media literacy is currently the biggest gaping hole in our discipleship. You cannot look at a single issue in American evangelicalism or American Christianity today that does not have, as a common root, a total and complete neglect of how we understand the content we create and consume and the context we create and consume that content in. Now, since I'm a social media manager, you probably assume that I'm just talking about social media, but I'm also talking about radio, television, and the internet as a whole. We have rapidly adopted machines and mediums that we have not fully understood and have used in ways that we don't fully understand the consequences of. In saying that we cannot disciple our kids in an area that we've not been discipled in ourselves, I'm not asking this question to shame or guilt trip anyone, because this has been a gaping hole in our discipleship for multiple generations now. Culturally, our kids are not modeling any behavior that is not already being exhibited by millennials, Gen Xers, and boomers, all who have the means of holding up the magnifying glass to our children to focus on all the things they're doing wrong without recognizing that those things did not appear in a vacuum. Why should our kids be concerned about what social media is doing to them when the adults in the room have no clue what social media has already done to them? And the good news here is that the solution is not to throw away all of your digital devices and become Luddites. God in His providence has ordained the times in which we live, and the tools that we have at our disposal are not things that we have discovered against the sovereign oversight of God. I'm not telling you that you need to make your family conform to the image of a family that doesn't have any screens in their home or never play video games with their kids. Playing video games with my dad is among some of my favorite childhood memories as a kid, and I'm still an active gamer to this day. What I am telling you is that if you're concerned about how modern technology and media are shaping your kids, you must begin by understanding how modern technology and media have shaped you and continue to shape you.